Divisional round. Hopefully one day the Dolphins will get here in my lifetime. Optimism. Optimism. What is up, football fans, and especially my boys, the Fin fans? Yes, in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction for the divisional rounds. I did for the wildcard rounds. I'm going to do it for the divisional rounds, and then for comment of the day, what if you guys asked me a very good question? I think it involves Stephen Ross. And we will talk about that. You know, Stephen Ross has been under a microscope, getting a lot of flack lately, so I will answer that question in comment of the day. But first things first, I am the realist, sorry. I got to shout out some new patrons and members. On the member side, we have Kyle Maxwell. We have Corey McIntosh. We have Ryan Kelly, Ludwig, Darren, Stenson, Backroom Collections, and WZG. Backroom Collections. If you guys don't know who Backroom Collections is still, be sure to check them out. Fantastic canvas artwork. You guys, I talk about them consistently. They don't just do NFL. They do all the sports, all the teams. Be sure to check them out. I am doing a giveaway with one of theirs. Again, I'll tell you the day that that's happening. But be sure to check them out. Use promo code EW. You get yourself 10% off. On the patron side, we have Ryan Randall and Camden Williams. Thank you guys so much for joining the membership and the Patreon. Again, I have a lot planned for this year and everything with both the Patreon and with the membership. So for the guys that are already here, thank you. For the guys who are going to be joining, you're not going to regret it. So we're going to be looking at the playoffs. Got 4 games, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. Wild card, we had 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, 1 Monday. It's really, really cool. Now we have just 4 games. We're going to start with Saturday's game. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, the #1 seed. I called them the dark horse, right? I called them a dark horse favorite with Derrick Henry coming back. And I got a little flack for that on Twitter. People are like, how are they the dark horse, Doug, if they're the #1 seed? Do you really think that they're going to win it all and go to the Super Bowl? Are they the favorite? Are they not decimated by injuries? Have they not lost to the Houston Texans and teams that the New York Jets and all these teams? Have they not struggled down the stretch? That is why they're the dark horse. Because if you take the Tennessee Titans right now and see the way they've played and the injuries they've sustained, they're not the favorite out of all the playoff teams. Right now, the Buffalo Bills seem to be the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. And that is why they're the dark horse to me. With Derrick Henry coming back, they are the dark horse to get there. Yes, I understand the #1 seed, but that doesn't mean that they're the favorite. You can get the #1 seed just by pure luck, Tennessee Titans. Because you lost to bad teams, but you got it because other teams lost in a certain way. You get the first overall bye. But with Derrick Henry coming back, that really helps their offense, and it really helps Ryan Tannehill, because Ryan Tannehill does really well when he has a good run game. Look at the Dolphins game. So taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who had a very good game against the Raiders, a lot of stuff happened with the refs and the whistle blowing and the play not being dead, and a lot happened. But I will say this. I'm picking the Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans with Mike Vrabel have been here before, have won these playoff games, they have the experience in their back door, back pocket, back breath, whatever you want to call it. And Cincinnati's still young. Still very young. Head coach, first time in the playoffs. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Very young. So I'm going with Tennessee. I like the home field advantage, and yeah. Then we have the 49ers, who the only game I got wrong last week was the Cowboys-49ers game. That is the only game I got wrong last week. They're heading to Green Bay on January 22nd at 8:15. We'll be playing in Green Bay, Wisconsin against the Packers, who are getting a lot of their players back. Seems to be getting their offensive linemen back. Seems to be getting their Randall Cobb seems to be they're getting their players back. Add to that, during the day on January 22nd in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the temperature will be 20 degrees during the day. The sun goes down in Green Bay, Wisconsin at 4:30 their time. At nighttime in Green Bay, Wisconsin, so at 8:15 when the game starts, the temperature will be 0 degrees. It is going to be cold as a butthole in Green Bay, Wisconsin by the time this game starts. 49ers went to Dallas, Texas to play in a dome. Now they have to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin to play in 0 degree weather. It's probably going to feel colder with the wind chill. I'm picking Green Bay. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo, with his injuries, and he might not even play. Joey Bosa, I think, is going to play. I'm going Green Bay in this one. Do I think it's going to be a blowout? No. But I'm going with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers hasn't thrown an interception in like 3 months, 2 months. I'm going Green Bay with this one. Not only because I think they're the better team, but they are just used to that cold. And I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to handle that freezing cold. I think the last time I saw that freezing cold was when the Giants went there and Mike Tomlin had those rosy cheeks. Then we have the Sunday games. We have the Rams taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm picking the Bucs in this one. I don't want the Bucs to win this one. No offense to Tom Brady, you're not a Patriot anymore, but I want to see someone else win a ring. You don't need 90 of them. At some point, you're going to lose fingers and just retire. So I do think the Bucs are going to win, and the reason why is the Rams went up against the Cardinals. Cardinals were ill prepared. The Cardinals were on such a losing streak, and they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, and they were just probably shouldn't have even made the playoffs. They're lucky they started the way they did. I think they went 9-0, and they got that hot start to kind of cushion their fall to stay in the playoffs. But the Rams went up against a bad team, but the Cardinals still kind of stayed in it, right? You're now taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have a very good defense and a very good offense. So this is going to be a good game. All 4 of these games are going to be good games. We're not looking at wild card, where we had, I think, 2 competitive games and the other 4 were just one-sided butt whoopings. So I think the Rams are going to have to play their top game against the Bucs with their offense and their defense. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I'm going to go with the home team. It is kind of a trend, and that's why it's very important to do well, regardless, and get the highest record, even in week 17, 18, depending on what year it is. So I'm going with the Bucs in that one. Then we have 6:30 on Sunday. We have the Buffalo Bills heading to Kansas City, Missouri. It's in Missouri, to take on the Chiefs. This game, and I think the Sunday's games are going to be the best games. And this game is it. I think, no offense to Tennessee, no offense to Cincinnati, but I think the Super Bowl representative is coming out of this game for the AFC. This is a hard one for me to pick. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And you're going to notice, I'm not going to talk about what the temperature is going to be in Kansas City. I'm not going to talk about it because it was cold as a witch's butthole. I don't know what's wrong with me. In Buffalo, when they completely own the New England Patriots. That being said, taking on, and again, this is not, I don't know why I have to preference this, but I say things about Mac Jones, and then I get people in the comment section saying, well, if you don't want people to say about Tua, what do you say about Mac Jones? I'm being constructive. There's a difference between being constructive and being a hypocrite. Mac Jones on ESPN was rated the second best rookie in that class, behind Micah Parsons. I have a disdain for Mac Jones. Same reason why some people have a disdain for Tua, because of the push that the media has given for this guy. Also, a big priority of it, or portion of it, is he's a Patriot. I hate the Patriots. Do you really think he was the second best rookie in that draft class? The second best? Jamar Chase isn't better than him? And that's why. But going back to what I said, the Buffalo Bills took on Mac Jones and the Patriots, right? Versus now taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. 2 different animals. Again, I'm not knocking Mac Jones, but Mac Jones is nowhere near Patrick Mahomes in his throwing power, in his legs, in his ability to extend the play, and just they're nowhere near each other. So you're going into a game facing Mac Jones, who doesn't really leave the pocket, who kind of throws his first open guy, doesn't really push the ball down the field. Does that sound like somebody? And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who you send pressure at him, you don't get that sack, he's going to roll out, and he's going to throw it. We've seen some crazy throws against the Steelers. Not saying the Steelers and the Bills' defense is the same. So you're going against two different quarterbacks. The same could be said for the Kansas City Chiefs. You just beat the crap out of Ben Roethlisberger, who already had his Hawaiian shirt on under his jersey. He did not go into that game probably think he was going to win, and it didn't look like he went into that game trying to win. No offense, Ben, but you played like hot garbage. So the Chiefs defense is now going against a guy who can do the same things that I was saying versus a guy who can do the same things that Mac Jones was doing. You see what I'm saying? So this is going to be a very good game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the final touchdown is going to win the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a 42-35 final score, because both of these offenses are very, very dangerous, and both of these defenses looked fantastic against quarterbacks who they don't have anything real special to them. And if you get offended and you're a Dolphins fan that I said that about Mac Jones, look at yourself in the mirror. Is he your quarterback? Don't get offended. So that is my prediction for this weekend. I have the Tennessee Titans beating the Cincinnati Bengals. I have the Packers beating the 49ers. I have the Bucks beating the Rams. I didn't pick this one. I didn't pick the last one. I just realized I didn't pick the last one. It's hard for me to pick this one. I would love for the Bills to prove me wrong here, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think when the Bills are the favorites, and I think when everyone is rooting for the Bills, because a lot of people, I live in New Jersey, I listen to 101.9, and I listen to Jets and Boomer and Carton and Roberts, and they love the Bills. They want the Bills to win because they are the only New York team. Jets and Giants, don't get offended. You're in New Jersey. And they think that if the Bills win, it's kind of the first New York championship in a while. Kind of breaks the curse. A lot of people think that the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. A lot of people think that this is the Bills' year. If I'm a betting man, I'd probably say Bills, Packers, Super Bowl. And I'd love the Packers to win because screw the Bills. No offense, Buffalo. You know why. But when the Bills have that, they tend to falter. Jaguars game, playoffs for the last 2 years, should be winning it, and then you lose it. You should win. Oh, the Bills are going to do it this year, then they lose it. Again, I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings, Bills fans. 4 straight years, you guys should have won at least one Super Bowl. You lost. So until they prove me wrong, I'm going with the Chiefs. So obviously there's the trend. Home teams, obviously better records. They deserve to be the home teams. I'm picking the home games. I expect to be wrong with one of these like I was last week. I could see the Bengals beating the Titans. I could see the Rams possibly beating the Bucks, and I could see the Bills possibly beating the Chiefs. The only one I really don't see, and I hope this doesn't come back and bite me in the butt, I don't see the 49ers beating the Packers. I don't think they're ready for that weather, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in that game. So that's my prediction. All the home teams are going to win their games, but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo beat Kansas City, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals and the Rams beat their teams. Comment below. If I picked your team or if I poo-pooed on your team and you're offended, comment below. Yell at me. Call me stupid. Whatever you want. Be respectful. If you curse, though, YouTube doesn't allow it through. I'm just warning you now. I don't control that. YouTube doesn't allow it through. They took the dislike button away, so it ain't on me. But comment below. I'm going to get to one of you guys' comments of the day. And this comment comes from Sean. And he says, comment of the day. I've been watching Ross drive this team into the ground for years. I don't think the Dolphins have any sustained success until Ross is gone. I hope I'm wrong. What are your thoughts? So here's my problem, right? Here's my thoughts on Ross. I don't have a problem with Stephen Ross as a person, as a human being, as wanting to win a championship, because he is doing everything in his power and what he thinks is right to win the Dolphins a championship. Here's the other problem. He already kind of has a successor in mind when it comes to him retiring, because he ain't getting younger. So he's going to retire sooner than later. Do we like the guy? I don't know. I would have preferred him to sell to somebody who actually has like a kind of a little bit of a football knowledge or something like that. But here's my thoughts with Stephen Ross. He is trying his best to get this team a championship. He doesn't want to be that owner that for his whole entire time and ownership of the Dolphins, they were horrible or mediocre. So that's what it's going to be if Stephen Ross magically sold the team in 4 years. If we don't pull this around and he hires a good coach now, and this is his last head coach, mediocre for his entire Dolphin ownership. But he's trying his hardest. He's just making and trusting the wrong people. That's not necessarily on Stephen Ross, and that's why I don't put it on him. I don't really blame him. I'm not, vengeful or whatever towards him, because he is trying, but he's just putting his trust and faith in the wrong people. Chris Grier, right? I'm assuming Chris Grier, it could be the next greatest, best GM ever. If you're going to get rid of Brian Flores, you got to get rid of Chris Grier. We don't know who made certain draft picks, but Chris Grier was also here for other draft picks, right? And again, this is the first time he has control, but now we're hearing he didn't have full control. It's a lot of this stuff starts to come out, but he's a nice guy. So he kept him around. And did he keep, and now all of a sudden, and again, I've already talked about this, they're looking for a new head coach, but there's that asterisk to the search because they have to work with Tua. But again, unless, whatever happens changes. Like they're saying it's not permanent, but things could change, yada, yada. But that's because Chris Grier doesn't want to look like a dupe who took this guy 5th overall, and all of a sudden he doesn't work out. Man, you make mistakes, you move on. Not saying I want them to. Again, go watch the videos where I talk about this. But that's why all of a sudden the Dolphins are in that mindset. Stephen Ross wanted Deshaun Watson as much as Brian Flores did, as much as Chris Grier did. So now all of a sudden everything changes because look at the only guy that's left. He's the only guy who's really talking to him and giving him direction. So as much as Stephen Ross has been an owner and has made dumb decisions on some of the head coaching candidates, head coaching hires and moves, and especially because people are banging the table for the love of God for him to bring back the alternate jerseys permanently, and he is just not listening to the fans, that's why a lot of people are getting pissed at him. But I don't blame him. He's just being guided by the wrong people. Because he doesn't know any better. If I was the owner, I'd find the right people that know football, but I'm not saying I know football, but I kind of know more than Stephen Ross does about football, not about running organizations. He obviously knows more than that. So that answers my question. I hope I answered it right, Sean. But other than that, guys, I will see you probably Monday. We'll do a recap of the playoff games, talk about who with the championship games and what's going to happen there and all that good stuff. But on that, guys, like usual, stay classy. If we get a new head coach, you get a video for that too, but I don't see that happening anytime soon until the dominoes start falling, until you see one head coach signed. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. That fins out.